Guru Nation, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share. If you haven't subscribed to my Investigators Brochure newsletter on my LinkedIn, make sure you go do that. That would mean the world to me. This video is actually a follow-up to that. So I posted the last story as of this video 2 days ago on how to blend business with fun, how to blend work with play. And a lot of people reached out privately and said, hey, in my particular case, how do I do it? Like, can you give some practical examples? And I thought I did enough in the article, but here's a couple more. So, and again, these are from my own experiences, so it may not apply for everyone, but I hope it gives you, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm trying to give you a framework, help you build your own framework, really, so that you can plug and play as appropriate to you within the constructs of the framework. I love biotech stocks, and why I've been focusing them. If you've paid close attention to my YouTube channel, you've noticed Aquestive Therapeutics I'm a huge fan of. I'm a shareholder. Over the last, really since COVID, I really started getting into the science side of research. And I know it's crazy to think I worked in this industry since 2005, and only really since 2020 did I start getting interested by the science, like truly interested. I didn't just take on a study just to do a study, even though that's my business as a site owner. I now actually pay attention to the science. Before it was just the PIs and the sub-Is that would do it. Now I actually join in with them because I'm interested in that. I have another podcast I help co-produce with Dr. Joe and Chris Sauber called The Dr. Joe Show. He gets heavy into scientific topics. Well, to me, that is fun. Like, it's not just work, it's fun. I'm scratching an itch. But another angle to that is biotech stocks. So biotech stocks I've been doing also since the beginning of my career because I thought I might have an advantage by understanding more of the industry, and therefore I'd be able to pick these stocks better than the average person. Turns out I was really wrong. I was just gambling. And it wasn't until I got into the science, like I said, 2020, plus my experience in the industry, plus having learned my lessons by losing big on some biotech stocks, that I started, I think, investing, at least what I think, the right way. And to me, analyzing these stocks like Aquestive Therapeutics as an example, and who knows, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, there might be another one that I get interested in. There's actually a couple other on my radar that I'm going to start doing some due diligence on. To me, that's not work. To me, that's fun. But I woke up on a day I don't have to work, which was Friday last week. I was off. I was in Austin, Texas for a wedding. But Aquestive Therapeutics had an Investors Day webinar where they were going to announce their latest drug candidate. And I had to get up at 7 a.m. and I'm doing it, and I'm doing it because I want to, not because anyone's telling me to, or because it's gonna benefit my career in any way. It's got nothing to do with my career, but it does. I did it just for fun, just for the enjoyment. I was truly interested in it. It's kind of like watching a TV show for me, seeing what's next for the companies that I'm invested in. And turns out they're announcing their new product candidate for alopecia. So I started learning all about alopecia during that webinar and then after. For example, I learned about one of their key assessments is called SALT, S-A-L-T, if I am not mistaken. I don't know what it sounds like, or I don't know what that stands for, but it is SALT, S-A-L-T. Indirectly, I'm learning, I was thinking if I'm going to go apply for a derm site or a derm CRO sponsor or even a sponsor company that does derm, and they start asking me, well, what are some of the things that you know about derm? I could rattle that off. I know that in alopecia, and I can rattle off a whole bunch of other things about alopecia that I learned in that hour. I know JAK inhibitors are the primary treatment option. I know corticosteroids are first line used, but they don't really work for most people, but they are cheap. And JAK inhibitors, they work, but they're potentially dangerous, and we need other options, particularly gels. And I can then get into the epinephrine, norepinephrine. I mean, I can get into a lot just by watching that hour-long thing. And I didn't sit on that thing and memorize it and treat it like a job. I was truly having fun doing it. So my point is for you guys and gals out there, whether you're career seekers, whether you're business owners, you need to figure out what angles of this industry you enjoy and would do for free and start doubling down on those because they're going to help. They are going to help your career even if you're not trying to do it, and you're going to be compliant and consistent because you're having fun doing it. And that's the key. So a lot of people ask, well, I don't have time after work to upgrade my skill sets. Yes, you do. You just haven't found what's fun about this industry yet for you. For me, it was biotech stocks. For me, it's also the science. Although the biotech stocks is even more fun to me than the science. The science part is interesting to me. The biotech stocks are actually fun and interesting. So you need to figure out what's yours. For some people, it's networking. For some people, it's increasing awareness around diversity. We have Danielle Mitchell from Black Women in Clinical Research, who's a perfect example of that. Was to her, that's her fun. If you were to ask her, and I've only spoken to her a few times, if you were to ask her, I guarantee you she would say, I do this for fun. Like, this is so important to me, I don't consider it work. And I think that's the magic, because once you get past that hurdle of, well, what's my ROI out of doing this? You lose that magic, you lose that compliance. It's no longer, it becomes a job at that point, not a career. So for me, it's biotech stocks and the science. I think for a lot of you people out there, biotech stocks as well. Maybe just give it a try. You don't actually have to know much about stocks. Like I'm not a day trader. I don't know how to analyze charts or any of that stuff that day traders do. I know some people do get into that. Maybe you can approach it from that angle. If I were a career seeker right now and I'm preparing to go to a series of interviews, I'm researching those companies. Let's say it's a CRO. If they tell you what therapeutic indications they're doing, like if you're supposed to be doing cardiology, I would look for 5 to 10 biotech stocks, the small companies you've never heard of, not Eli Lilly, but small, 5 to 10 small biotech stocks in cardio. And I would look at what they're doing, look at their product pipeline, look at their investor presentations, look at all those kind of things, and figure out, okay, what's the mechanism of action? What's the current standard of treatment? What's some of the side effects? What are the key assessments we're looking at in clinical research studies? These are all the same transferable skills or knowledge you're going to need to know in that job that investors need to know as well. And so you're going to learn a lot about that therapeutic area by studying biotechnology stocks. Not to mention, in my opinion, the biotech sector is what's driving innovation for the next decade or longer in our industry. So it pays to know some of these companies. Again, doesn't mean you have to be an investor. Like, you don't have to go crazy. Just open a Robinhood account and put like $10 into one. Just try to have some fun with it. Or if you already know stocks are not my thing, maybe just study the biotech stuff from the science perspective. Something tells me you're going to learn a lot more by doing this than just thinking of ways for you to potentially elevate your career. And then we all know what happens when you just think about something. Nothing gets done. So this is one practical way that I do it. Again, it's my framework. I do believe a lot of people can build a similar framework, maybe even with the biotech stocks. But if not, it's a way to think about your own framework and how you're using it to elevate your career and your business. Like, subscribe, comment, share, Guru Nation. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.